This is Uganda TV.
For you.
Hello, welcome to the next episode of The Seven Arrows of God here on Uganda TV channel. This is the story of Mugoya Michael, a pastor from Uganda. A man shot down several times but not killed. Let's go again.
The third arrow shot right in my head. 2007, 2008, 2009. My world was down. Then I was picked up by another group of well-wishers, including the Network for Integrated Community-Based Research and Development, NICRAD, Boyogerere Kampala, including other people, and even the church called Watoto Church, by then KPC. But what happened? Wekwe Full Gospel Church took me, and I started using my technical knowledge, ICT, my technical knowledge in literature, my technical knowledge in writing, and we began the work of looking for sponsors, donors, to finance their social enterprises via the internet, all initiated in Wekwe, Uganda, under Full Gospel Ministries development program, which I headed by then, and I became international. We got linked to international funding agencies, including the Kronos Group, and individuals from the USA, from Canada, and from the rest of the world, including Europe. That was so amazing. Jack Graves and all other donors who were so impressed by the work I was doing online. 5 years on, the beneficiaries and stakeholders were enthusiastic and very hopeful that something was boiling up that was going to be so huge for the communities. However, one of the donors, called Jeannie from Mississippi, accepted to start an orphanage in Uganda, courtesy of me. However, in my encounter with one of my best girlfriends, he sent her away and she pulled out of the project. It hurt me, but I kept loving my girlfriend anyway. Then, when I introduced her to the church, they said I had overlaid with her, and instead they proposed to give her to another man better than me. I said, Lord, if I lose her, I'm going away. She insisted and went away. She got wedded by another man while I looked on in the tears of shame. So I also gave up. Oh my God. The fourth arrow hit right, direct inside my heart. Afterwards, I had to move on to find my own way. I went into teaching. There I was. I went to Caesarea Public Library, to St. Caesar's SSC, Malongwe. Nothing worked. I went up to Kingston Education Institute, and I was jailed for claims of instigating a student strike, of which I was later acquitted when I was found innocent. I tried my best at Chosimbo Nanya SS Kangurumera, and it never worked. It was once through the Comforters Center of Kampala that I invited pastors Omar and the team from Kingside Church in USA, and they came and organized a pro-life conference for younger girls at Caesarea Public Library in Wekwe. That was a hit, and I felt so good. Once I found myself at Wekwe High School, where I did my best to teach students, but still teaching was not working for me. Until I began ITV Uganda. ITV Uganda, we linked up with friends, including Hassan, Frank, and other people who joined me, and we began a community-based radio. Through these efforts, we linked up with the political wing, including the support for the then woman member of parliament known as Mutaswenga Diana, whom we supported through the media and enabled her to go through as a member of parliament for Wekwe South constituency. That was a hit I enjoyed. Because on top of that, I had given up on Christ, I had started doing things on my own, and the things were not working for me, so I had become an atheist, an opposer of God. I had become a non-believer. A kind of non-believer who even supported the acts of sodomy, courtesy of Angalia Wamu, LGBTQ society in Kampala, which I joined and later came out tumbling with other issues. until when they threw me out of the business which we began together, and that business also came tumbling down. My world crumbled on me when all my friends turned against me, and everyone who knew me saw me in shock, saw me in shame. And the small goals I had assembled for myself, they never helped me in the time of need. The gods of Kangurumira, the gods of Karagara. The 50 arrow shot straight into my back. How shameful. See how you have been thrown down, and my world was not on me. The world was on its own, and I was on myself. I had been imprisoned several times when I had tried to make my own way out. I had been thrown in prison, and it is only by God's intervention that I had been released and came out wondering what had happened. Until I chose to run away from the place where I grew up from, that is Boyekwe, and I had to take off, and I went up to Mbale, where my half-brother called Moses had called me, and he told me that welcome back home, stay with me, and let us plan again. And when I was with him, we started enjoying eating, drinking, and celebrating together, because they had a business of scrap which I used to be part of it, and he could take me home, feed me, and even take me to bars, drink alcohol, and even enjoy the best of my days. That was 2021. During the times of the lockdown in Uganda, I had been a business in Uganda. I had left my half-wife behind because during COVID-19, in the lockdown, I had brought a wife and married for a half period of that lockdown. And she was old, but after she had gone away, I had gone my way, I had gone my world, I had decided to move on, and things were not working out because everything had been put according to the plans of the divine. Now here I was in Mbale, somewhere in the place called Ibongoho, where my half-brother Moses was. He was there a place, oh Lord. He also tried to cultivate for me another branch of his project of scrap in Bumbobi. I went there, started selling scrap, but somehow, my finances were not working out. And when I tried to come back to his business, to work out in the way he used to work before, things didn't work out. And I said, Michael, find a way. I had to find my own way. And then I went my own way into Mbale City. Now I know Mbale City because it is a local city which is selfish and not welcoming to strangers. There I was, staying on the streets and even eating at the rubbish pits, and also sleeping in bed houses near Club Erutanja. And I was devastated. See how I had been thrown down by this arrow of God. One afternoon when I was lying in Mbale Cricket Oval, looking up the sky, and the world had no meaning on my life, I said, let me go back to Christ. So I went back to my sister's place where she was renting a room, and she was using it as a salon at the same time with her granddaughter. And I came telling her that I was so sick and I had been convicted of neglecting my wife who was pregnant. She accepted my story and accepted me in, and I started staying with her. When I was in that place, that's where I recommitted my life to Christ. And I told the devil that I have been with you for all, I have given you all the 6 years when I have been an atheist and an unbeliever. Now your time is up. I'm going back to Christ, who knows me by name. And during that time I fell sick for 4 months. During that time I was being fed by my sister and nothing was working out. She brought for me a doctor who worked on me. Things never got well and I was getting worse day by day, until then the believers in that community, including Betty, including Eve, including Andrew and the others, came and prayed for me every night until I had to recover. When I had recovered, they consoled me and even stood there for me.
Wow, that's it for today. Watch out again for the next episode. Remember, this one was proudly brought to you by New Revival Nursery and Primary School in Buikwe and Uganda TV. Together, let's support the education of underprivileged children in Uganda. Carolina, I say goodbye for now.
This is Uganda TV.
For you.